All right, guys, welcome back to Daily Read on YouTube. Once again, the working website, as usual, is going to be www.realhistorywww.com for the world's first human beings and all their civilizations were diverse blacks. Okay, and let's say if humans have been on the planet only for 100 years, 99 of those years, there were no redheads, no blondes, no non-brown eyes, or non-black skinned human beings. For example, it was only a year ago that brown-eyed peoples gave birth to the first blue-eyed or non-brown-eyed peoples. It was only a year ago, for example, that black hair gave birth to redheads and blondes. And it was only a year ago that black-skinned peoples of every genetic variation, dominant phenotype, dominant hair type, uh, dominant hair type, recessive hair type, recessive phenotype, etc., or many variation of the nose, the lips, the eyes, the skull, many hair types gave birth to a lot of variation of themselves, right? So if you go to this website, www.realhistorywww.com, you'll find the pictures of the original black peoples of Britain, France, Germany, Scotland, Ireland, Spain, Portugal, the Greeks. You find pictures, okay? So you can actually check information. So what you should know is that history is a set of lies that people have agreed upon. Okay, so if you're not researching something, if you're not studying anything, I can tell you whatsoever it is that I want to tell you, and basically that's all the information that you have. So, with that being said, I'm going to do something totally different. We were talking about the black and brown nobility and royalty of Great Britain, and we talked about John Mackey, the spy who wrote, several books describing the ancient peoples, the royalty of Scotland and Ireland, or important peoples, and he described them. And I was showing basically that the people that were being described, if we were to pull them up today on the computer, their visage or their image would not match how they were described by John Mackey. So, for example, Europe is missing around 40 million diverse black peoples. Okay, so there was a lot of admixture, a lot of genocide, and a lot of people were murdered out in the Hundred Years' War, in the 30-Year War in France, etc. A lot of black cultures, a lot of black peoples were murdered out. A lot came to the Americas as indentured servants. A lot of them were deported as slaves or prisoners of war. Okay, so we're going to talk about some names, crests, and coats of arms of some ancient black British peoples. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to go through some of them, but not all of them. Okay, and I know this thing is going to be ticking a lot, so let me try to move it slowly. I haven't figured out how to make this cursor not click, make that weird noise. So forgive me on that. All right, so the first one is going to be, go down here, click, 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 click. Okay, family crest of Bauer, Bowman, Chatfield, Coles, Freeton, Leader, Meakin, Fairbairn Books of Crest, plate 125. Okay, see if I can move this down here. There we go. The surname Bauer, German, the historical and enchanting region of Austria, is the birthplace of the distinguished family name Bauer. Austria, which was originally home to a Celtic people, was conquered by the Roman Empire in about 15 BC. Following the fall of Rome, Austria was repeatedly invaded by barbarian tribes such as the Vandals, Visigoths, and Huns, who swept in from the east. During the 5th and 6th centuries, the Alemanni, which we have pictures of those too, so the Avars and Slavs settled Austria. The word slave is derived from Slavs, Slavs. Okay, the Avars were defeated in 785 by Frankish Emperor Charlemagne, who set up the East Mark, which later became known as the Osterreich. Otto I defeated the Magyars in 955. Austria was ruled by the Babenberger dynasty until 1278, when they were succeeded by the Habsburg dynasty, which ruled Austria until the 20th century. One can encounter great variation in the spelling of surnames. In early times, spelling in general, and thus the spelling of names, was not yet standardized. And later, spellings would change with branching and movement of families. Variations of the name Bauer include Bauer, Baur, Bauerr, etc., 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 and many more. Okay? Hopefully, it's not so much clicking. All right. So, first found in Austria and Bavaria, where the name contributed greatly to the development of an emerging nation, which would later play a large role in the tribal and national conflicts of the area. In later years, the name branched into many houses, each playing a significant role in the local social and political affairs. Bauer is an ancient name for a person who worked as a maker of bows. Further research revealed that the name is derived from the Old English word which means bowmaker. Surnames that evolve in the Middle Ages often appear under many spelling variations. These are due to the practice of spelling according to sound in the era before dictionaries had standardized the English language. Bauer has appeared as Boer, Bowery, Bauer, Bowers, Bauer, Beer, and many more. Okay, let's look at the German arms, the ancient arms, keyword ancient arms. Okay, look at the ancient German arms, guys. Pay attention. This is Europe. Let that sink in for you. Family crest of Andrews. Okay, Andrews, Colmore, Eddington, Grantham, Mayor, Maynell, Moore, St. Lo, Weldon, Whitwrong, Wooton, Fairbank Book of Crests. Okay, now please don't let them tell you, oh, the Moors were in Europe. Just tell them, hey, listen, man. If human beings have been on this planet for 100 years, 99 of those years, they were all blacks and peoples, including Europe. That's it. Anyways, the surname Moore, Austria. Okay, the name Moore comes from the Austrian Empire. Okay, the tradition of adopting hereditary surnames came to this German-speaking region after the 12th century, and surnames derived from places where people lived were a primary source. Many local names carry the prefix von, meaning of or from, like you would say von Steisten, from Steisten, for example. It originally indicated land ownership and is sometimes a mark of nobility. The Moore family originally lived in the modern state of Austria in the medieval era. Many different cultural groups live in the German states. There are thus many regional variations of German surnames from that era. Westphalians spoke Low German, which is similar to modern Dutch. Hold on, let me move this up a little bit. Okay. Many German names carry suffixes that identify where they came from. Others have phrases attached that identify something about the original bearer. Other variations in German names resulted from the fact that medieval scribes worked without the aid of any spelling rules. The spelling variations of the name Moore include Mohr, More, etc., 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 and others. First found in Austria and the Rhineland, where the name became noted for its many branches within the region. Each house acquired a status and influence which was envied and enrolled by the princes of the region. In their later history, the family became a power unto themselves and were elevated to the rank of nobility as they grew into this most influential family. It's the French arms. Look closely at these folks. Remember, there's a hair type has nothing to do with skin color because you can still find Uh, well, now they all watered down to light brown, light yellow, dark yellow, but you can still find black peoples with the recessive hair type, which is straight. Not all black peoples have the dominant hair type, which is woolly. All right, this is the French arm, the ancient arms of who's this guy? Moor. And that's another Moor. Okay, I don't want to read this one. I'm going to skip this one. This said the surname Moor continued. Okay, France. It's in France. You can find it. You can find it in Ireland. Uh, you can. Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and read this. This seems important. Spelling variations of this family name include Moret, Mores, Mor, Mores, Mori, Morai, Mores, Morit, Maurice, Mores, etc., 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 de Moret, and many more. First found in Ile-de-France, okay, Ile-de-France, where the family has held a family seat since ancient times. This Ile is Isle de of France. I took a couple of French classes, so I kind of understand some French. Keyword kinda. All right, where the family first found in Ile-de-France, where the family has held a family seat since ancient times. So they're not brought there by no Moors. They've been there from ancient times. Ireland. There are several distinct sources of the Moor surname in Ireland. Okay? Most of the names find their roots with the Anglo-Norman strongbow invasion of the 12th century. Many of these became the Mora. Others derived from the Old Irish O Morda, from the word Morda, meaning stately or noble. Excuse me. The English surname Moore is derived from the personal name Moore, which is itself derived from the Old French word maur, ma, meaning Moor. Since church officials and medieval scribes spelled each name as it sounded to them, as a result, a single person could accumulate many different versions of his name within official records. A close examination of the origins of the name Moore revealed the following spelling variations. And I'm not going to go through all these guys, there's a lot. So we can keep going more and many more. You guys can go ahead and check that out. All right. First found in Leicestershire before the name had made its way to Ireland. Their first records appeared on the early census rolls taken by the early kings of Britain to determine the rate of taxation of their subjects. Scotland. The Moor surname in Scotland is thought to have been a topographic name for someone who resided near a moor or heath. In Gaelic, moor means great or big. Okay? A scribe may have mistaken the adjective moor as a surname, and the adjective as a surname, moor or mere. This may explain the occurrence of the surname Mere or variant in northern Scotland. The name Mere would seem out of place in the region because it holds a meaning of living by a moor or a heath, not the typical landscape of the Highlands. Judging by its meaning, Mere is a local name of the south that described the area in which the original bearer lived or held land. Spelling variations of this family name include, and we're not going to go through all this, guys. You can go check it out for yourself. Mormon and many more. First found in Ayrshire, where they held a family seat from early times, and their first records appeared on the census rolls taken by the ancient kings of Scotland to determine the rate of taxation of their subjects. All right, let's go down. This is the code. I don't know what the hell that says up top. I can find this information about how to read it. Vitri Fortuna Sapientia. It's like Spanish. It's not Spanish, but Italian, it seems. Let's see what it is. Let's look at this image on the left. Okay, this is still Europe, guys. Family crest of Andrews. Andrews. So when they say, oh, these are white people's names, no, 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 no. Okay, this is in the Fairbank Book of Crests, plate 135. You can actually go look these up for yourself like I did. Okay, Andrews. Let's look at, okay, let's go down. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through, I'm going to go through some of them and read, and some we're just going to look at pictures because this is going to take forever and I have to do several videos, okay? So I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis, guys, and I would hope for you to go and read and check it out for yourselves. Andrews. The Picts were the ancient Scottish tribe. Hold on, let me put this up. All right. Okay. The Picts were the ancient Scottish tribe where the ancestors of the Andrews family lived. The name Andrews comes from the baptismal name Andrew, which is in Greek means manly. The name was popular as both a personal name and a surname, likely because it was the name of Scotland's patron saint. In Gaelic, the name is Andrea and Andra, which again means manly. Before the first dictionaries appeared in the last few hundred years, scribes spelled according to sound. Spelling variations are common among Scottish names. Andrews has been spelled Andrew, Andrews, Andrew, Andrew, etc., 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 and many more. First found in Caithness, this family was strongly associated with the clan Ross. It was originally known as the clan Seal Andrea, meaning the race of Andrew. However, from about the year 1100, the Andrews moved south to the Dumfriesshire area of southwest Scotland. Duncan Andrew, chief of the clan, rendered homage to King Edward I of England in 1296. And here I have no idea why so many crest entries for Andrews, and there's a lot of them. Okay? All right. Look at the guy on the right. It's about just Andrews again. This is a variation of it. Same Andrew, but there's a variation. Instead of Andrew, you have Andros. Okay, so we're not gonna read him again. Oh, what the hell? Nope, it's the same thing. I'm not gonna read that. The ancient arms of Amor and feet, love and strength or something. Let's see who this guy's working with. Family crest of Amo or Emo. Fairbank Book of Crest, plate 129. This one is pretty interesting. Amo. Spelling variations of this family name include Amor, Amores, Amorim, Amo, and others. First found in Castile in north-central Spain. Some of the first settlers of this family name or some of its variants were early migrants to the New World bearing this surname, including 1. D'Amor, who arrived in Florida in 1538, Lorenzo D'Amor, who arrived in Peru in 1594. So we know if these people are the true ancient names, and the people who arrived in the so-called New World, which I don't know how a planet that has land and people on it is going to be new, but whatever. They were the people who were arriving were black skinned people then. The ancient arms, they just got mixed in with the native populations, and over here they became African Americans, and the Caribbeans. I guess they were shipped from Africa, which makes no sense if you think about the original population of the world. But whatever, a story for another day. All right, the ancient arms of Morphin. Okay, let's keep going down. Look at this. Oh wow, too fast, too fast. Okay, Morphin. Spelling variation of this family name include Morfin, Morfin, Morphe, Morphe, etc., 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 and others. First found in Essex, where they held the family seat as lords of the manor. The Saxon influence of English history diminished after the Battle of Hastings in 1066. The language of the courts was French for the next 3 centuries or 300 years, and the Norman ambience prevailed. But Saxon surnames survived, and the family name was first referenced in the 13th century when they held lands. Let's keep down. Viresco, that sounds Italian. Now look at the guy to the right now, or woman, I don't know. Christy. These are all black people's names, by the way. Look at the pictures. So when they tell you, hey, you have no, 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 these are our names because all human beings were diverse black first. So whatever you have, when you came from the black peoples, you adopted their languages and their cultures, right? Genetic mutations produce a lot of variations. So whatever language the black people spoke that gave birth to the pale skinned peoples, these people cannot say that those languages belong to them because they're not the original speakers of those languages. Because we know two blue-eyed peoples can never produce a brown-eyed person, but the first blue-eyed person came from two brown-eyed peoples. Yes, makes sense. Wonderful. All right, Christy, family crest of Christy, Fenham, Farnham, Gorton, etc., etc., etc. Let's move on. The Picts were the ancient Scottish tribe. Let's pause here. Scotland was named after the daughter of a pharaoh of Kemet, now called Egypt. The Akhenaten, who was the first monotheist, and he believed in the sun disk, the Aten. Okay, he was the first monotheist, Akhenaten. His daughter went over to Scotland, and her name was Scotia. Right? That's a story for another day, but that's very important information. So we know the people in of Europe was diverse black peoples. Okay. All right. The Picts were the ancient Scottish tribe where the ancestors of the Christy family lived. The name Christy comes from the Christopher or perhaps from Christian. Okay. Uh, when the first dictionaries were invented in the last few hundred years, spelling gradually became standardized. Before that time, scribes spelled according to sound. Names were often recorded under different spelling variations every time they were written. Christy has been written, Christy, etc., 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 and many more. First found in Edinburghshire, where they were recorded as a family of great antiquity. Keyword antiquity, ancient, seated at Carvan in that shire. By 1296, they had moved northward to Stirlingshire, and there is a section of the Stirling antiquity called the Christies and their Doings. A charter from 1457, granted by the Abbot of Lindores, mentions John Christy as a burgess. Later, John Christy was listed as Burgess of Aberdeen in 1530. Okay, so the Picts were the ancient Scottish tribe. The word Scotland comes from Scotia, who was the daughter of the Pharaoh of Kemet, or now called Egypt, Akhenaten. So Scotia, Scotland, and he was the first monotheist or theism, and he believed in the sun disk Aten, or the one God. That's just side note. I'm in my relaxed attire today anyway, so all right, let's see. All right, I should make this a little bit smaller so we can see it better. Put my zoom down to 150. All right, let's see if we can see it now. Okay. Here we go. Let's go back up. Man, I'm going backwards, guys. Okay, let me click it here. See if I can do it quicker. See, since I made it smaller, I lost my place. Here we go. It's still large, but what the hell? It's okay. I'm sorry about the clicking sound. I have to figure out how to take it off. Tell you what, you guys go ahead and check this one out. I wanted to show this insignia on the right side, but whatever. You can check it out. Okay, Big, Dobson, Gilham. I'm going to skip these sections. Monson, skip those sections. Morrison, skip that. And the reason I'm skipping it is it's a lot of information, and my job is not to give you, every single story. My job is to give you a snippet of information, and hopefully that makes you think a little bit. And by you thinking, you want to research more for yourself. Make sense? All right. So let's just look at some pictures and call it a wrap. Yeah. Okay. This one is Indoor Fort. Okay. This is Lindsay, like Lindsey Graham. Okay. You can check that out. Okay. This is Aquilas Mo Capita Mucus. Hey, this is a lot of work, guys. Imagine putting all this website together. Family crest of Buller, Gleam, Maniot, Molly, and more, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Ancient arms of Ag. And once again, this is section Black Britain. Once you go to the website, it's not in order necessarily, but you can find it. If you can't find it, just leave me a little note and show you how to get to it, so you can look at all this stuff because everything is there. All right, so this is the family crest of Ag, and the name Ag arrived in England after the Norman conquest of 1066. So were the Normans black peoples? The ancient arms of Bonell. All right, take a look at him. This is Europe, guys. Oh, excuse me, not Bonell. Yes, well, Bonell, Buckworth, Halliburton, Soam, Stewart. These are black people's names, guys. So when they tell you that you have their names, no. The world's first human beings were diverse blacks. Here are the pictures. Ancient Europeans, British, Scotland, Ireland, Spain, Portugal, they were all diverse black peoples. Diverse meaning many hair types. Woolly hair, straight hair, curly hair, many shapes of the skull, the nose, the lips, the eyes. Some black peoples have the epicanthic fold, so-called slanted eyes. No pun intended. All right. So go ahead and look at him. I'm just going to keep going. Qui conducit pro Dio. Look at these coat of arms. Borthwick, Blackmore. Well, this seems pretty interesting. I'm going to read this one. Let's look at the picture again. Qui conducit pro Dio. Borthwick and Blackmore. I want to read these. Let's read these. The Borthwick family name comes from a place name that was first used among the Viking settlers. Were the Vikings also black peoples? Interesting. Among Viking settlers who arrived in the shores of Scotland. Excuse me. I got snouts all everywhere. Who arrived in the shores of Scotland in the Middle Ages. The Borthwick name comes from someone having lived in the old barony of Borthwick next to Borthwick Water between Selkirk and Roxburghshire. Bearers of this surname have inhabited this area since at least the 14th century, which is the 1300s. Documents first mention Quondam Thomas de Borthwick, who held lands in Midlothian and who had a character from John of Gordon, lord of that ilk, for the lands near Lauder between 1357 and 1367. Translation and spelling were non-standardized practices in the Middle Ages, so scribes had only their ears to rely on. This was a practice of extremely limited efficiency, and spelling variations in the names, even within a single document, were the result. Over the years, has appeared Borthwick, Borthwick, etc., 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 and many more. First found in Roxburghshire, where this family prospered through an uncertain era of raiding, feuding, and warring in southern Scotland. By 1400, the border feuds had taken shape into a code, which, although to use at this time may seem like straight outlawry, was a strict set of rules governing the apparent indiscriminate burning of homes and theft of cattle, horses, and even women. They were barbaric. They were just as barbaric as they are today, back then. Black. The origins of the Anglo-Saxon name black come from its first bearer, who was a person associated with the color black, right? The name black may have referred to someone with black hair or clothing, which, okay, let's just keep reading. We're going to get the laugh of this nonsense. The name black may have referred to someone with black hair or clothing, or to someone who worked in a profession such as chimney sweeping, which left its practitioners covered in soot. Okay, guys, that makes no sense. Okay, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. Okay, laughter aside, please remember that the source of the name histories is white. And think about it. If your name is black, who's going to call themselves black because of their hair color? Anyways, okay. The first dictionaries that appeared in the last few hundred years did much to standardize the English language. Before that time, spelling variations in names were a common occurrence. The language was changing, incorporating pieces of other languages. For example, French, uh, you know, uh, German, etc. Like in English, they say water. In German, you have Wasser. English and German un. Okay. Anyways, incorporating pieces of other languages, and the spelling of names change with it. Black has been spelled many different ways, including black, black, and others. First found in Lincolnshire, where they held a family seat from very ancient times. Some say well before the Norman conquest and the arrival of Duke William at Hastings in 1066 AD. It is said that the first family of black were converted to Christianity by Paulinus, the head of the family being prefect of Lincoln, about 628. They moved northward, however, and were established in Scotland by 1175 AD. All right, let's go to the ancient arms of. Oh, this is a lot of information. My brain hurts. Okay. Ashford and Agas. Okay, I'm not going to go through this. You guys can check that out. Marquis of Hertford. Marquis of Hertford coat of arms with two Roman soldier supporters. Notice the Roman soldiers are black people's guys. I'm not going to read over there. We're just going to look at pictures real quick. I'm going to call it a wrap because I have several more videos to make. And my job is just to give you the information. Hopefully you go research and do some research and check and research and re-research and form your own conclusions. All right. Ive or Ivy. This one says the coat of arms of Ive or Ivy, Williams, 1485. And you can go right here and check out the Dictionary of National Biography. from 1485, Ive Jeremiah 1653 to 1674, etc. You can check it for yourself. So, all right, let's move on down. Okay, let's check out some more. This guy on the left side is pretty interesting. He was in the Hundred Years' War, and black peoples were dominant in Europe at that time because black peoples fought on both sides in any conflict, you know. But in the end, they all got screwed. Those who weren't murdered out in the different civil wars, because all the civil wars in Europe was to get rid of the last rulers of Europe. For example, the French Revolution was to get rid of the last black rulers of France, and those were deported. Those who weren't killed out in the 30 Years' War in France, they were deported to Santo Domingo, which is now called Dominican Republic in Haiti. Okay, so that's just some important information. Um, okay, labor omnia vinciti. That's it. Okay, you can go check this out, guys. Let me see. Let me go back up here a little bit. Okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and read him because it's very important. Let's look at his picture again. You can see he's like me. He's being watered down to dark brown. You reduce black by 3/4, you get dark brown. You reduce black by half, you get light brown. Yeah, he's been watered down just like me. Right. Silius Titus, 1623, born, died 1704. Of Bushy was an English politician, captain of Deal Castle, and groom of the bedchamber to King Charles II, who was a black man, by the way. Colonel Titus was an organizer in the attempted escape of King Charles I from Carisbrooke Castle. Okay. Titus began his political aspirations by writing a pamphlet titled Killing No Murder in 1657, during the Protectorate period of the English interregnum era of English history. The pamphlet advocated the assassination of Oliver Cromwell. Yeah, he was a devil. Due to the danger involved in writing such a politically charged opinion against the protector, Killing No Murder was published under the pseudonym William Allen. And Oliver Cromwell is the one who destroyed like over 90+% of the original black images. They burned things. They totally try to get rid of everything of of the original black rule in Britain. For example, I have pictures of Mozart where he's shown as a black person, and I have one where he's shown not as a black person from the British library. So they tried destroying everything, but you can't destroy everything. Okay, you can try. Anyways, Cromwell was said to have been so disturbed. Okay, well, I'm not going to go through this one. I don't want to read about this guy. All right, let's go down. And so basically, guys, you can go on the website. We're going to pick up at the Black Holy Roman Empire, which they went all the way up until, I believe, 1805 in Germany, Austria, and Italy. All right. So once again, check out the website, www.realhistory.com, right? And you can check out the original black cultures of Greece, for example, the original black cultures of China, Japan. Well, the original black cultures of China were the Shi and Shang peoples, or the last one, okay? So when you look at peoples in China, you can see that if you understand genetics, you understand that their skin type is a genetic mutation, but it's not deleterious, okay? So basically, the recessive hair type black people is mixed with the recessive hair type non-blacks. That's straight hair blacks mixing with all the invading true peoples from Central Asia. That's just one of the sections you have. You have the original black peoples of Hawaii with pictures. You have the original black peoples of Persia, Palestine, the Hebrews. You have all the original peoples. Okay, and if you guys want to learn basic genetics, like where the first redheads, the first blondes, and non-brown-eyed peoples. Once I get another 100 subscribers, then I'll go ahead and talk about basic genetics. All right. So please go ahead and check it out on YouTube. I'm giving you the information, and it's up to you to do your research. All right. Peace.